Kyle, by the way, you have to record all the university classes, dude. It's a big thing, right? I think them being able to see themselves is a huge thing.
Oh, okay. I will automatically then.
Yeah, right on. Yeah. The Apple joke in team meeting with Val was really funny the other day. Okay, all right. So we're making a list, sir. All right, you're gonna share your screen. I'm stopping my screen sharing. All right, and we're listening to Tawei. Take it away.
Okay, so
Right, and ICT's mustache. Okay.
say so the length of this thing is around 10 seconds approximately. Say this.
I like these short films and clips.
So as you can see,
Okay.
the person on the video dubbed over a piece of meme, which can be done easily. He done this daily now. These types of videos will have people concentrated on the topic because it has a low duration.
Thank you for teaching me, Professor Tawei.
Okay, let's pick another next, which is basically kind of longer. What is that thing called?
By the way, you have 2 minutes.
Okay. So this is for the second one. Don't mind the weird profile pictures. This is some kind of like animation. It lasts around 5 to 8 minutes.
So I like one of the things that I've been accused of recently is being too random, but I feel like I'm justified. Anyways, go on.
So there are random shit posts, stuff like that, and then music. Music lasts around 3 to 4 minutes. They usually tend to have high traction because people that come to listen to the music daily probably stick there for the whole duration, right? Unless they are trying that new music and they like it and exit in 10 seconds.
Yep, it's a totally wide range of topics and content.
And now about gaming. For gaming, people can leave at the first duration of the video because A, they misclicked it, or B, they didn't like it.
Or they found the piece they're looking for. They found a specific piece of information they were looking for and moved on compared to having something in the background. That's the separation you're making, which is valid.
There are like a million permutations, right? Tawei, can you teach the word permutations for me?
Permutation.
And if you're not sure, or T's already Googling it, and then go to images. Yeah, go to images. All right. I like you guys are so fast. What's the best image that will? Yeah, the blue and red one is going to be the best one. Yeah. So it's that there are so many permutations of ways that it can go down.
I could see.
Right. Okay, cool.
So the meaning of the permutation is the act or process of changing the order or this set.
Basically, I know this equation from school, but I didn't use it that much anymore because I have other.
People don't like permutations. Yeah.
Think about it as a set number of variables based on an input, how many possible combinations and outputs there are. That's the simplified version.
I mean, it's easy to do, but it can get bothersome at some point.
That applies to a lot of math for me.
Okay, the next video that I'm going to talk about is a video essay. Basically, people commenting on something or critique and stuff. It lasts around like more than 30 minutes and it could go up to 2 hours. Yes, people talk about some stuff for 2 hours. I don't know how, but they did.
Lots of people do that, actually. It's crazy. So it looks like you spend more time on YouTube than TikTok, yeah?
Yes. And finally, there are stream archives. Stream archives are a type of thing where you record a video from Twitch and you post it here. So
yeah, because
if you keep the video on Twitch, it will get deleted somehow because to save memory.
TT, thank you. TT, do you mind doing me a favor, T?
Yes.
Please grab a logo of all 4 companies and then put them together on one picture.
Okay, so.
Thank you. All right, so Tawei, you're running out of time now. Okay, good. That was very nice. I'm gonna lead you guys to okay, so T's working on that. That was great commentary, by the way, Tawei. I learned something, and that's the best version. Does that make sense?
Yes, that does make sense.
For me anyway, out of one of many permutations. Yes. I'm trying to get my screen going again so that I can share the screen. Just a moment. I don't know what's going on here.
While you're doing that, one of the other key factors to think about in any kind of comparison, especially platforms, is the people who's using it. And that comes down to demographics. If you look at the demographics and who focuses how much time on which platform, that's also an interesting key piece of information.
The audience does really matter on the platform, since you want to attract some certain type of audience that will stick around your channel. Say on the Bubble English program channel, you tend to attract people who are interested in English, right?
Yeah, the funny thing about that stuff right there is oh, testing 1 2. I think it's a really interesting perspective, really. Like right now, I treat YouTube pretty much as external storage, right? Really. And then the views are just kind of like a bonus. And I think it's just really interesting that all of this stuff gets generated while I have like certain different aims. But the key difference, right? The key difference I wanted to point out to you guys is that only one of these 4 pays you to add to it if people watch it. Right. So that's where this year is unique for me in my terms of like looking at social media. Right. So the first thing is that I'm gonna stop really scrolling completely on IG. Right. I will only post there. Right. On Facebook, I'll never scroll as well. And I'm only gonna post for the rest of the school pretty much, or whatever gets synced up by IG. Right. My primary focus on like whatever social media is to people, right, is going to be YouTube, right? And then that's pretty much where I'll treat it like my social media now, right? And I think that's fascinating because YouTube is owned by Google, and Google is a separate entity than all of these other 3, right? And so it's also kind of philosophical as well, like which one would I rather support? Right. And like Mark Zuckerberg is kind of nuts. He's a cyborg. And then TikTok's owned by Chinese people that don't give a crap about.
And YouTube.
I lost you for a second, bro.
For a moment. That's okay.
Guys,
so you're back.
It always happens when I have the video in the video. It's not the technology is not quite there yet. All right, go ahead, Ka.
Oh no, talking about the separation, and one of the things Tawei said is YouTube also doesn't give a crap. And I have a feeling I know what you mean by that and where you're going with it. And you're right, in the end, it's about numbers, it's about monetization,
Yes.
and there's different models. What we get to do is make the choice of how we utilize each for its own
Yes.
specific purpose and value, and get the value out of it instead of letting them just get.
Sorry, I got a message to send a message to the team.
For YouTube, the pros is that the demographic there is very huge, right? A lot of people use it, around 2.3 billion people. And you can upload a lot of videos there, a lot. And probably there will be just a little bit of restrictions. And the cons is that you can get copyright strike because the law is kind of busted and stuff like that. And if you get big, prepare for some copycats, is what I suggest. For Facebook, the cons is that you can post pretty much something very freely, and you can post it a lot. You do not need to make a lot of effort on it. The cons is that Mark Zuckerberg can spy on you, and the demographic there is kind of, there's not much demographic there. IG is easily to reach, but the cons is that you're making an educational site, probably no one who saw it. They go on IG to saw Pretty Woman. And TikTok, the pros is that there's a lot of people there, a lot of people use it.
This vlog is going to be dedicated to talking about it.
You get the idea?
Idea. I hope you find that interesting.
Sorry, I'm just getting set up, guys. Okay, all right. So T, are you done with your infographic real quick?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Go ahead and send it to us in the line group.
Wait, I thought you. Wait, did you told me to put it in the document?
Oh, that's cool too. Okay, all right.
Let me
I'm going
to
to that.
find full image of the
It's okay. It's
Facebook,
okay.
YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram. All
Oh,
right.
perfect. Yeah, that's perfect. That's fine. Oh, very nice. Okay, all right. And so if we make a quick little mind map, you guys can understand it, I think, without me writing it, but I'm gonna use the voice to text. All right, so we have here. All right, so one of the key concepts here is that the blue is controlled by Mark Zuckerberg and the metaverse. So is blue, pink, orange, yellow, and white, right? That would be Instagram. TikTok is owned by whom?
Chinese company, Tencent. What's the
Tencent Media, yeah, Tencent Media. Okay, all right. And YouTube is owned by Google, right? And the final point here is going to be that only one of them pays you or pays for monetization of advertisements. So that's the one that I'm going to treat as social media. Everything else is supplementary.
By the way, you know that all four of these actually pay their users advertisement fees, you know that, right?
Say what?
You know that these four platforms pay users for advertising.
TikTok does. TikTok pays per views. Same
So
as
does Facebook and Instagram.
Instagram and Facebook, I don't think pay-per-view counts directly. TikTok does the same as YouTube.
Well, you know, what I said is monetization of advertisements, not views, right? And then I suppose like as an advertiser or influencer on Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram, you would get paid directly from the company, but it's nowhere near the system of YouTube at all, right? Where it's like automated deposits into your account, you know? So I think that's got a lot going for it. I'm sorry, you know? And then Tawei, you are some random kid in Thailand, you know?
Yes.
And it's obvious that you use YouTube more than TikTok.
Yes.
Right, and you're smart as tax, right? So okay, cool. So there's that. That was the final point on that. And then I was going to take you guys through a few concepts here today. Okay. The first one is going to be time boxing, right? And time boxing, it has been
kind of like a sketch too.
Yeah, it's popularized. It was popularized by Elon Musk, but it's been around for a while, you know. Remember, the thing that you should take with all of these kinds of concepts, right, is that life is not a war and you're not a military leader and you're not your own army. Okay. Right. So like the thing about time boxing that I take away, right, is that for a certain period of time, you are highly focused on whatever the outcome is for that time. All right. Not making your life in segments though. Okay. Right, because that would make me crazy. Okay, all right. So that's the time boxing concept. All right. The other one that they talked about is something called the Pomodoro Technique, which is very similar actually. All right. And the Pomodoro Technique here is this guy, decide on what you need to do, set 25 minutes for it. And then you try to finish everything that you can in 25 minutes, right? Then 5-minute break. Right. And then you do that for 4 more cycles and then you take a 30-minute break. Right. Again, right. The time organization is kind of Nazi-ish. Okay. All right. So the concept is better to learn, right? Because everybody's different, right? You know, permutations. Tease, can you say permutations?
Permutation.
Thank you. So cool. Okay, all right. That was really cool, bro. Okay. So the concept here is going to be that you can work in highly focused cycles, but you do need to take breaks. Okay. All right. And the time limit, I think it depends on whatever's going down. Okay. All right, cool. And also what the objective is. So that's the Pomodoro technique in just a few minutes. The next one, it has to be done. We're going to talk about this one for like 35 minutes or so, all right? Which is going to be the Pareto Principle, okay? All right, you guys know a lot about it, right? There are crazy applications to it and the 80-20 principle in general, right? And it's also important not to think in a binary way, right? So not everything is black and white, not everything is 0 and 1, right? It's that there are actually infinite numbers between 0 and 1, right? Okay, cool. All right, sounds good. Okay.
Very cold, very early, very dark run this morning.
Side point here, guys, right? Side point here, guys, is that this person has extreme ADHD, right? His brother may have also had similar problems. Both of them went straight edge almost 15 years ago, 20 years ago or so, right? And straight edge means no chemicals whatsoever,
Yes.
right? So that's like what? Oh, you know already. Okay. All right. Some straight edge people don't even drink coffee or tea, guys. Okay. All right. Okay. And the side point that's relevant is recently I learned that running is really good for that. Okay. Is that for certain people in this world, I think myself included, movement helps us think. Okay. All right, cool.
That run this morning, that run in the freezing cold, that was at 6 o'clock this morning. That is 6 in the AM, I was up outside running in the freezing cold. It is currently 9 p.m., 9 o'clock at night. Tomorrow morning, I also have to get up at 5:30 in the morning. But I didn't shoot a vlog today, I didn't shoot a video, which is fine, taking days off is fine, but I shot this morning, which meant I started something. So if I didn't do a vlog today, it would have meant starting something and not finishing something. And in my book, that's not okay. Someone who starts something and doesn't finish something, that is a loser. Someone who starts something and always finishes it, that is a closer. One of my favorite movies is called Glengarry Glen Ross. Here's a quick scene.
A, B, C. A, always, B, C, closing. Always be closing. Always be closing.
So intense.
Yeah, I tattooed that on my arm. Last week I talked about that Voltaire quote, perfection is the enemy of good. And what that means is you can never let your desire for perfection prevent you from finishing something that's good. Because to finish something, even imperfectly, is to learn from it, and then you can move on and get closer to perfection. These fundamentals dovetail nicely with my passion for YouTube. Prior to really embracing YouTube, I always considered like my filmmaking, the content I made, to be precious, and perfection was imperative. And how that actually manifested, what that actually meant, was I just didn't make a lot of stuff, because I always had that excuse to fall back on. And in embracing YouTube, and more specifically, giving myself this daily mandate to upload a video, it has forced me to abandon this idea of perfection, this false idea of perfection, and instead forced me to focus on productivity. And that, in aggregate, over time, has made me a much better filmmaker, has made me a much better storyteller, creator, all of that.
All right, so this is the key infographic I wanted to show you, but the intro is good, right? The intro is good. Okay. And remember, I also said Nazi-ish a few times today. Okay.
Yes.
Give me this like that. I need to explain something called the Pareto Principle. %80 of the movie, that is the filming, like all the stuff with the camera, me out running around, like the idea, the concept, all that stuff, the first 80% of the movie is only 20% of the work. And the last 20% of the movie, which is for me, the editing, the last 20% of the movie is 80% of the work. All the things that people typically associate with making a movie is really only the small part of the pie. And the big part of the pie, the Pac-Man part, this is finishing. This is closing. And this rule, by the way, this applies to everything in life. This applies to school, whether you're a painter or a musician, trying to write a song, trying to start a company. Entrepreneurship, this applies to. My business, this applies to. When you run a marathon, 26 miles, the first 22 is only 20% of the work. It's those last 4 miles that are 80% of the work.
You close or you hit the bricks. You can't close shit. You are shit. Hit the bricks, pal, and beat it, because you are going out.
I have to go home now because there would be a terrible irony in me not finishing a movie about what it means to be a closer.
Right. So, by the way, this guy, he got offered a fellowship at MIT after all of this stuff, right? So that's where like the hint of stuff comes from, but it's mostly as his reading, right? I especially liked the Voltaire quote, right? Which he said was, perfection is the enemy of good, right? And then the perspective of things is that you finish it and you close it because you understand that perfection is not really possible. And then you're trying to make something good because whatever you made that's good helps you make something better later, right? Because it's an ongoing process, right? And I guess shocked these days that it's such a simple, profound concept, but people don't apply it to the way that they think, right? It's fascinating to me. It really is. So yeah, I have to make a Procreate demo video for one of my team members. So I would love if you guys could help me out. Both of you guys, please join on your iPads. All right. Okay, and then I'm gonna end the call and then start it up again, okay? All right?
Okay.
All right.